our Hi friends, welcome again. Today we will discuss again on second phase of our discussion on demographic methods, vital statistics or part 2. I, Dr. Chetan Thakur, and on behalf of my colleague Professor Krupal Patel, I heartily welcome you all on e-learning platform of Kadi Sarva Vishwavidyalaya. So let me continue our discussion with phase 2, part 2. What we discussed last? We talked on need of study, then we talked on definitions, we discussed about the advantages when the data collection has been made by the government authorities and where it is used, we talked on that. And then we discuss about the terms used in chapter. We started with infant mortality rate, then we discuss about the crude birth rate, then we talked about crude death rate, and lastly we discussed on standardized death rate. So today we are going to discuss on how we can compare the health of two cities. So calculations for comparison of health. Here I have taken an example for city A and city B. So you can check the figures. Here first of all let me discuss in depth about the given table, the age specification given in first column. The next two indicates the details about city A and the last two presents details about city B. So let me discuss first all each. The age group 0 to 5, that means from the birth of a child to the age of 5 years is considered in this age group. 6 to 15 is again the teenage age, and it covers 6 to 15 years of age of children. And the next is 16 to 25 years of age group, youngsters. Again the young people covered in 26 to 40 of age group. Then rest of 40 to 50 and all those 50 and above. So let me talk on the second column, which is given for city A as in population form, and the next is total number of deaths. It is clearly mentioned for the age group of 0 to 5, the total population of city A is 6,000, whereas for the same age group 0 to 5, total number of death in city A is 120. That means in total population of 6,000 there is total 120 death. Similarly, for the second age group 6 to 15, total population in city A is 21,000 and total number of death is 840. Similarly, we can check this for 16 to 25, 26 to 40, 40 to 50 and 50 and above. If we talk about the last age group 50 and above, we found that the 8,000 people are living in city A, and out of them 480 is the total death in city A. If we check for city B, the total population for the first age group is 6,500, and out of that total 260 deaths are recorded. For second age group we have total 18,000 of people, and out of them 540 total deaths are recorded. For 25,000, this is the total population for the age group of 16 to 25. We found total 1250 deaths are occurred. So this is the detail for two cities. Now we are interested to calculate out of city A and B whichever is best in health or good in health, or we can say they are healthier. So as per the given information, it is very difficult to conclude this. Say for example, if we focus on the second age group of 16 to 50, there are total 21,000 of population in this age group, whereas total number of deaths are 840. The city B has total 18,000 of population of the same age group, whereas the deaths are 540. So this is not similar figures for comparison, is it? So what we require to do? We need to focus on death rate. So first of all, we should know how we calculate the death rate. Let's check. For this given detail, we require to add one more column for both the sides for city A and city B, and that is named as death rate. The same table I have presented here with adding one more column for both the cities A and B, and it is named as death rate. So how we calculate the death rate? In last talk we discussed about it. Death rate is the total number of deaths occurred in a particular region or time frame divided by total population of the same region into 1000. Here we have age group wise population and deaths. So what should we do? If we calculate the death rate for the 0 to 5 age group, we have to use the same formula. That means the total number of death is 120 divided by total population 6000 into 1000, and whatever result we'll get, we'll write that as a death rate, and accordingly we can write that all for 50 and above age group. Similarly, we require to calculate that for the city B, and in this case we will write 260 divided by 6500 into 1000, and here we'll get the figure, and that will represent the death rate for the first age group of city B. So in Excel form or in general calculations, how we can do this? So let's go through that. Let's check. I covered that again into the Excel sheet for all age groups of 0 to 5 and 15 above. I took the total for city A and city B. The total is 1 lakh. For population, total death rate indicating 3580. City B population 1 lakhs and city B's total death is 4317. Now we require to calculate the third column named as death rate. So let me check the death rate for both the cities. So I'll name that in separately for city A and city B. The third column is named as death rate. How I'll calculate this? So we write the first death rate equals to what? Number of deaths. Here it is, number of deaths divided by total population or population into 1000. Let me close the parenthesis first and then we multiply that by 1000. So it is very simple calculation for death rate. This is what we require to check for both city A and B. Now let me implement this. As you can see, the total number of deaths is 120 for first age group. So let me write 120 divide by population for age group is 6000. So let me divide that by 6000. And we require to multiply this division by 1000. So let me put that in parenthesis first and multiply by 1000. So in general application of Excel, we insert the calculation. It is very well known to us that if we put the equal sign in front of the formula designed in Excel, we will get the answer. So let me calculate the death rate for the first age group, and let me put equal sign in front of our calculation. Let me insert equal. Let press enter. Here you can check 120 by 6000 into 1000 is 20. Once again let's check for second age group. The total death is 840. So let me enter 840 divide by the total population, that is 21,000. Let me insert 21,000, close the bracket and multiply by 1000. Right, let's enter the equal sign again in front of it and let's press enter. Here we get 40. Similarly you can write 720 by 24,000 into 1, but now Excel provides us the facility of cell calculations. So you can see C5 it's given 720 here, divide by, now the value 24,000 is given in B5. So let me divide that by B5, and simply when we multiply that by 1000, and let's press enter. Okay, fine, you get the calculation. Let me repeat the formula again. This is C5 divided by B5 into 1000. Here it is. C5, that is 70. Oh, just a minute. Let me check. I press 6. Okay. Let me remove it. Okay, once again. C5, that is 720 divided by B5, that is 21,000 into 24,000 into 1000 is a 30. Now let's drag till the last age group of 50 and above, and here we get the calculation. Okay, so you can check accordingly, and when we drag the calculation for the last 3 age groups, we get the direct calculations, right? You can understand well. 460 and the last is 480 by 8 is 60, right? Okay, so now we complete the calculation of death rate for city A. Let we move to B, city B, the first cell. Okay, now it is 260. We can write this F3 divided by E3, 6,500 into 1,000. It is 40. And here, let me drag it. We get entire calculation for death rate of both the cities, right? Now separately, let me check the age group 0 to 5, death rate is 20, 6 to 15, here we get 40, 6 to 25 is 30, for the next is 30, 40 to 50 is 40, in the last age group, here we get 60. You can accordingly check for the second city, that is city B, 6 to 15 is 30, 16 to 25 is 50, and so on. So now we generalize, let me generalize the calculation for death rate. This is what we gave is an individual. So death rate of CTA is equals to, fine. Now here we will focus on total calculation. So the death rate is basically calculate on number of deaths, but here we are using total of CTA. That means we have to write total number of deaths in CTA divided by total population, okay, total population of CTA, and then we close the bracket and multiply that by 100,000. Here we construct the form for the entire CTA. So death rate of CTA is total number of deaths divided by total population, total number of deaths by population into 1000, and it is, okay, 35, let me insert it, equals to 3580 is the total number of deaths divided by divide by, okay, fine, total population of CTA is 1 lakh given in B9, so let me divide by B9, 2000, press enter. It's 35.8. Let me highlight it and let me go for the same calculation for CTB. Here we have, so let me paste it first and then change CTA as B. Similarly, we'll imply this for city B again. Let me change for city B, and again the population change for city B. Okay, so here we have the ready-made formula for city B even. Once again the same form we are going to use. So let enter the values equals to 4317 for city B, that is the total death, divide by total population as 1 lakh, is it given in E9 into 1000. Here we have, it is 4317. So let me highlight both. Now it is very easy to understand. 35.8 and 43.17 are the death rate for city A and city B. So this is basically calculation of simple death rate group wise, and here 0 to 5 for both the groups, 6 to 15 death rate for both the groups. City A and B indicates death rate separately and accordingly. Now what did, so lastly we calculate death rate for CTA and death rate for city B. So once again, total number of deaths for B and total population of B into 1000, and finally we get both the death rate. Hope you can understand well. Now if we check this table again, the final table, here we get this. Once again you can check here manually, 120 divided by 6000. So let me remove these 3 zeros of 1000, cut with 1000, and 120 by 6, here we get 20. Similarly 840 divided by 21 is a 40, 720 divided by 24 is 30, 660 divided by 22 is 30, 760 by 19 is 40, and 40 by 8 is 60. Same way you can calculate the death rate for city B, right? And now let me move ahead. So what the steps till time we have used? Let's repeat it. Take totals for population and total number of deaths for both the cities. That is what we did. Let's check. For given illustration, total of population for city A was 1 lakh. It was same for B. So I mentioned the population for city A and B is 1 lakh. Also we found the total for both the cities for death, that is total number of death, and we got 3580 and 4317, right? So what we did then? Okay, when we complete the totals, we add one more column for death rate calculations, and then we compute the age group wise death rate for city A and city B, right? By using this formula, we added death rate is total number of deaths divided by population into 1000. Now compute CDR of city A and city B. As we check this by using Excel, I simplify here for very kind information of us. The formula what we have used is total number of deaths in city A divided by total number of population in city A, which is multiplied by 1000. And here you can see in table the 3580 is the total of death in city A, which is divided by 1 lakh, total population of city A into 1000, and here we get 35.8 as the SDR, or we may say simple death rate or crude death rate of city A. Similarly, we use the same formula but changing the name of city. Total number of deaths in city B divided by total population of city B into 1000. Okay, fine. Let's check. The totals are given. 4317 is the total number of deaths in city B, which is divided by 1 lakh as given total population for city B, and when we multiply that with 1000, here we get 43.17, right? Okay, so now it is difficult to compare the health of city by basically on ground of death rate. See, for example, here we have 35.8. We may say 36 people are died at the rate of 1000. Per 1000 people, 36 are died in city A, whereas 43.17 approx we can say 43 people are dying at per 1000 total people, right? So the death rate wise 35.8 is the least value for city A compared to city B. We may say that according to the comparison of health death rate, the city A has a lowest death per 1000 people compared to city B, right? Now, but it is difficult to understand till as the age group and sex definition is different for each city or the population is different, we require to calculate the SDR for both the cities. Now, you can do one thing, assume any one city as a standard city, as we discussed in theoretical part. Thus, we consider the CDR of city is the SDR of the same city. You require to calculating SDR for another city. Now, suppose in our case, if we consider city A is given as a standard city, so what CDR we calculate for city A? Let's check that. Here it is 35.8. So 35.A is the CDR of CTA. Now as we consider that as a standard city, the CDR of CTA is to be the SDR of CTA, right? Now already SDR is determined for CTA. We require to calculate the SDR for the another city. Now the another city is B. So what we need to do? We require to calculate the SDR of city B, and for that we imply the formula, or we can take the weighted average for city B towards the A. So SDR of city B can be calculated by using age group population of city A, which is multiplied with the death rate of city B. Okay, here we require to understand one more thing. Very clearly put this in your mind. Here our intention is to calculate the SDR of city B, right? So you want to multiply the death rate of the city B with population of city A and divide that by the total population of city A, right? Now check this: 6,000 into 40 plus 21,000 into 30 plus 24,000 into 50 plus 22,000 into 20 plus 19,000 into 80 plus 8,000 into 19 divided by 1 lakh. Now how will get these figures? Let's go back. You can check. We took population of CTA, that is given 6,000, 21,000, 24,000, 22,000, 19,000 and 8,000, right? And we multiply that all individual or group wise population with the death rate of B. Here it is given 40, 30, 50, 20, 80 and 19, right? So now what we did, we calculate 6,000 the age group of first 0 to 5, which is multiplied with 40 the death rate of CTV. Similarly 21,000 is the population for second age group, which is required to multiply with 30. 24,000 is multiplied with 50. 22,000 is a 26 to 40s age group people, which is multiplied with 20, and accordingly the last age group is given 8,000 in city A, which is multiplied with 19, right? So now let's go back and check the figures. As usually we discuss, it is given here 6,000 into 40 plus 21,000 into 30 and so on. Last is 8,000 into 19. We know as well the total population for city A was 1 lakh, right? Okay, now SDR of city B is usually I have defined the formula, and now the basic calculation you can apply and check. Finally you will get the total of 41,82,000 here, which is divided by 1 lakh, and finally here we get 41.82 as the SDR of city B. Now what we do? Now SDR of city A is 35.8 as we consider the CDR of SDR equal for the city A, and we compute the SDR for city B is 41.82. This is our first result, right? According to this result, again we found 35.8 per thousand death. That means once again 36 people are died at the rate of 1000, and in city B it comes around 42 people. 41.82, let we consider the whole number, and that round figure will says that 42 people per 1000 people are died in city B. So according to our consideration of SDR or standard city A is healthier than B, right? Okay, fine. Someone is saying that, sir, if we are not interested to consider city A as a standard city, I am willing to work as SDR, that means the city B is the standard city, then what? Yes, you are free to take. On other hand, if someone assumes city B as a standard city, then what should we do? We require to calculate or consider CDR of city B is SDR of city B. Here I mentioned we calculate CDR as 43.17 in our last discussion, and accordingly we consider SDR is the same as CDR, right? So what happened? As we standardized city B here, we require to calculate the SDR for A. So what formula we have to change? Age group of population of city B into death rate of city A. Let me recall again. Here we are going to calculate the SDR of city A. That means I have to multiply the death rate of A with population of B and divided by total population of B. Here you can find in a table. Let's see. The population of city B I have taken. The population for city B for the first age group is 6,500. Whereas the SDR for the first age group in city A is 20. Here it is, right? Similarly, the second age group is 18,000 of population, whereas the death rate for the city A is 40. Here it is. That is what we have checked. 25,000 is the population of third age group, whereas the death rate in city A for third age group is 30. And 26,500 is the population in age group of fourth, and the death rate is 30. And vice versa, we can calculate this. So finally we compute that 34 lakh 15,000 is the final calculation after multiplying and adding all the numbers, and while dividing that by 1 lakh, here we get 34.15. So once again, if one can calculate the CDR or a standardized city B and calculate the SDR of city A, here we get the different results, but interpretation wise we should have the same results. Let me check. SDR of city A is 34.15 as we calculate, and that was considered for city B. The CDR and SDR equal as 43.17. So now let me compare them for both the results 1 and 2, as we have we have named this results as 2. Let me check both the results. In both the cases, the SDR of city A is computed lower. First case, it was lower for city A, and in second case again it is 34.15 compared to 43.17. We may say that per 1,000 people there are 34 death occurs in city A, while for 1,000 people 43 people are died in city B. Once again, total number of death in city A is lower than B. So we can conclude lower the death indicates good health of people. Thus, health wise city A is better than city B. Fine guys, so let's check another example. Here we have calculation for city in B again, but you should focus while I write. You can check the name of cities. Here I specify that city A is a standard city. Yes, you can see that city A bracket standard. That means already we have standardized the city. That means you can consider in the last calculation CDR equals to SDR of city A, and you require to calculate the SDR for city B. So let me initiate the steps for death rate first. Here we have the calculation of death rate. As usually, total number of deaths divided by total population into 1,000. So for first age group, 320 is the total death. Well, multiply by 1,000 and divide by 4,000. Let me cut all the 3 zeros, and 320 divided by 4 is 80. Similarly, 640 is divided by 24. Here we get 26.67. 652 is total number of death for third age group, which is required to divide by 26 only, and here we get 25.08. So as we discussed earlier, total number of deaths divided by total population will produce the death rates. Now for final calculation, we require to use the total number of deaths and total number of population for both the cities. So let's check. Total number of death in city A is 3313, and total population for the city A is 1,10,000, and for city B is 4317, total number of death, which is divided by 1042 40. That is 1,40,200 and 240. Right. So let's go for in depth of city A and city B. So CDR of city A based on totals 3313 by 1140 into 1000 will get 30.12. If we implement the same for city B, here we get the total for 4317 of total number of deaths in city B, which is divided by total population of B 104240 into 1000, and here we get 41.41. right? So as per this calculations, we found 30.12 dead in city A. Compared to B, there is 41.41 total number of death per 1000 people. So death wise, city A is more healthier than B, as it has least death in cities. Right. Now, as usually in the given details, it clearly mentioned that city A is a standard city. So I clearly write this here. City A is given as a standard city. That means the CDR of the city A is considered as SDR of the particular city A. You require to calculating SDR for city B. Thus, CDR of city A is considered as SDR of city A. CDR, as usually, let's check, go back and check it. 30.12 is the CDR of city A. Now, CDR of 30.12 for city A is the SDR of the city A. Here we considered A as a standard city, so we require to calculate SDR for city B. And how to do this? So let's check SDR of city B as an age group population of city A. Once again, let we recall, we are going to calculate standard form for city B. We are going to standardize city B. So I require to multiply the death rate of city B with population of city A, and I'll divide that by total population of city A. Right. Once again, let's check. 4000 is the total population in age group of city A first, 0 to 5, whereas we got the total death rate as 72.22. Let's go back and check. Here it is. 4000 is the population and the death rate for city B is 72.22. The next step is 24,000 is the age group of people, second age group of people, and here we have the death rate of 25.23, right? And accordingly, if we multiply all the numbers, he'll get. So final calculation will be end at 4695745 as a total, which is required to divide by the total population of city A is given as 110000, and finally we get 42.69. So let's compare them, SDR of city B and SDR of city A. City A having SDR, as we mentioned, 30.12, where the calculation for city B's SDR is 42.69. It is very clear for us now, 30.12 is comparatively lower than 42.69. That means lower death occurs in city A. Comparatively, we may state that city A is healthier than city B. So hope you can understand these calculations well. Thank you very much, and have a great day ahead, and we'll have a discussion more in next lecture. Thank you.